strong foundation for your garden is today's topic, soil care basics. Andy, where are we starting with the basics of soil care? You've been at this for what, 50 years? You've been caring for people's soils. Where do you start, brother?
50 years, I'm thinking. I should start more than that. So I'm 75, so it's like maybe 55 years.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Victor. Started basically doing my own gardening because I like gardening. People look at you and go, "Come over here and do mine too." And I remember I charged $25 an hour when I first started. It's, oh my God, you're expensive. And I go, well, that's it, man. Take it or leave it. And I've been charging ever since.
Yeah.
And to me, there are some simple things that people need to. I'm sure they understand, but and I can cover, how the process of making compost, or the process of what mulch is, or different types of varieties of plants. All those things are also basics that people really need to understand to a good degree, in terms of how you're going to build your garden. Like right now, I just moved to this place. Its backyard's empty, right? So I envision a garden back there. So for me, and this is why it's a good opportunity now to tell you what is exactly that I would do in this here garden. So the first thing I did was I pulled up the fake astroturf, the fake turf. It was turf. I had the owner take the turf out. That's not going to help anybody. It's not going to do anything. I had the turf taken out, and I've been here about a month. I moved in December, so in January, at the end of January, it'll be 2 months I've been here.
Yeah.
And so the first thing that I want to do in a garden, well, you want to ideally plan it out a little bit. You want to decide what you want to grow. I tell people, make a list of what you want to grow, what you want to eat, and that's what you want to grow, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, if you garden outside, right? So you know that certain times of year is good to plant certain things, and other times of year is not. And so that's
and for us, it's more like when there's all that white stuff outside.
Yeah.
It's really hard to grow.
That's the time you come out and do the planting, right? Over here, we kind of have like year-round planting. We never freezes by the ocean here. So and when I lived in Florida, it was like year-round too. The winter time was really mostly. Wait. Let's do this.
Okay.
Hi, Michelle. You want to say hi to everybody on the It's All About the Biology show?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Hi. It's all about the biology.
Yeah, that's Ken. Okay.
Hi, Michelle.
Can you hear her?
Hi, I'm going to meet you soon. I'm so sorry, sweetie. I forgot again.
It's okay. I'll call you as soon as we're done, okay?
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
And it's been like this. I've been doing shows for a long time. And what happens is we are actually broadcasting when we do stuff. For me, I actually envision broadcasting throughout the ethers, right? So I have people that pick up the energy, and all of a sudden they have this urge to call me. So I mean, this is like the billionth time it's happened. I've been live on the air doing my thing, and hey, it's like right? And that's what it is. It's just But anyway, so in this area, there's no garden. There's nothing there. But what is growing is what we want to call weeds, all kinds of other things that you do not normally think of as a garden. So the guy wanted to just pull everything out, clean everything up. I said, no, leave him alone. So the first thing I'm doing is making sure that what's growing, it's going to grow. So I started making I make my own liquids that I spray.
Yeah.
So I have to make them in my yard here. I'm in this process now. As a matter of fact, right just today, Ken, I ordered some things to make some more liquid, some more super seaweed, okay? And just today, so let's see how far behind I am in terms of actually ordering stuff to get my super seaweed going. And so when I get it, I have to make it in an environment where it doesn't get too hot, it doesn't get too cold. Ideally, the best way to make this liquid is underground inside a what do you call it? It was, when you go down to a basement.
Okay, I was thinking bomb shelter, or tornado shelter,
Because the ground keeps it at a certain cool level. I don't have to worry about all these, because if liquid gets too excited, the biology inside the liquid starts to show up. They start talking to me. Could you let me out of here, please? I'm ready to move now. I'm going, oh my God, where are you?
Mhm.
You know, it's like they start talking to you. And what I mean by that is like you open them up and it really smells. You can see all kinds of white mycelium growing, all bubbling, hands coming out, all kinds. And you know, and
Little Shop of Horrors comes to mind, Andy.
I learned to stabilize everything using. That's one of the things I use is rock dust. I've learned like the clay tends to keep everything in a nice stable environment as long as I keep it cool. Then all I need is a little bit of that added to a nice source of still water, bubble, and there we go. We have tons of stuff. I'm in the process now of ordering some beer making machine. And when I get these things, I'm going to take pictures and see. I'm in demand for video, so my problem is I have my computer is cuckoo. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of like you, Andy.
I'm having deja vu because I think I just moved. I was over there, and now I'm looking at you. You're me. I go, wait, that's not me. So did we switch? Why did you do that for?
Actually, it's because where you are on my monitor is now you're at where my camera is. So when I'm looking at you, I'm looking at my camera. So my eyes aren't, staring off into space on the side.
I see. But I'm looking at the end going, oh my God, my beard has changed. And I'm going, oh, it's not me.
Yeah. Hey, so you got hair again, Andy.
So anyways, in my business, as everybody knows, or if they don't know, they should know, I mainly go to people's homes and I spray my magic elixir on the property, which is basically biology as live as possible with as much different kinds of trace minerals as possible. And I get the owners to help with the environment, their physical environment. That's the soil is not, well, I was going to say soil. The area where the trees and plants were growing is not soil. It's like the ground, which is missing soil. It's missing soil. Literally, gardeners and the owners tell, sweep everything. Don't let a leaf fall on the ground. Take it away, right? And actually, in the process of the wind coming and the rain, it actually gets rid of more and more soil, right? Whatever you call soil, it gets washed away, blown away, right? Totally, right? So they're just sitting there in this environment with no biology whatsoever, and they're saying, "What do you think is wrong?" I'm going, "Let me think about this." But anyway, so in the process here, in this place where I'm living, it's the same thing. Nothing's been growing here for a long time, and I want to start growing things. So I encourage. So I started basically what I do is I bring my spray over here. I have the liquid anyway, so I already sprayed 3 or 4 times already. Sprayed by putting this, making a batch of this nice. I super seaweed, but I also add endonectomycorrhiza, a bunch of other different types of microbial, as well as like the C90s, a really wonderful source of trace minerals. I add Willard water to it, which is a really cool. Dr. Willard invented something really cool. It's made for the stomach, but it's biology for the stomach, which really works on the soil. Figure that one out. And so I add all kinds of rock dust to it and a bunch of other different things to make this liquid, which that I then use a little bit of to bubble through a beer machine, which makes me more liquid to spray on the people's properties. Plus, not just spray on the soil, because I spray the soil, right? So let me tell you something really cool. So this is like this. Not even 2 months I'm here, and mushrooms are already coming up on the place, which is a really cool sign. So out in front, there's a little forest. There's a bunch of trees out before the cars come, and we have a driveway. And in this forest, there must be 1 foot or 2 foot of this incredible. Well, just think of these pine trees dropping pine needles for like 50, 60 years. Right, just falling and dying, not going anywhere else. It's just building up and melting, right? And it's so when I went out there, you have to excuse me because I'm going to put everything into the thing all one time. I just keep going, and you can tell me when to stop. But basically, when one of the first things I do is I go on and I buy seeds. I already have seeds, but I wanted to buy some specific seeds that I like because they really enhance the biology very, very fast. So over here, one of the things I planted was the nasturtiums. You know what nasturtiums are? Well, nasturtiums were one of those things that will just take off. It's just grow, roots, and when they die, it gives them more stuff to the ground. So it's one of the wonderful things and very colorful. So I went out there to start planting nasturtium. So I dug a little hole, and I don't know if I told you this, but as soon as I opened the hole, there was a layer of mycelium in there, white mycelium already in there. I go, oh, holy shit, like bingo, you know. And
Yeah, exactly.
So I started to immediately spray the island with more biology to it. More mushrooms are starting to pop up. There's a really weird mushroom I've never seen before. It was yellow. Okay, so it's a yellow mushroom, the size of my hand, like maybe about like that, right? That's pretty big,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yellow, and it was up like that. It was like the right the roof of it. It was like that. It
Yeah.
kind of looked like that. You know, the going up. It was yellow, bright yellow. I'm looking at it today. I'm going, holy cow! A very interesting mushroom, because that's what it is. It's a mushroom coming up. That whole
Yeah.
area. So I planted nasturtiums all right amongst in there. I planted various different types of native flowers. A blend of some sunflower seeds. A blend of different kinds of other types of native flowers, and whatever flowers I could get my hands on, some poppies. And so I was telling people this. I was talking to a person, and they said, "Well, what are you planting?" A little bit of everything. A little bit of everything.
Diversity.
And so that was the key to increasing the biologies. Don't stick to any one thing. Just remember, Mother Nature is very good at mixing everything up. Just shaking it all up and throwing them out there. Really nice blend. And so and the nasturtiums are the type of legume. They're kind of a legume. They not only dig in the soil, but also take nitrogen from the air into the ground. These trees are having a wonderful time. I've been feeding them for about 3-4 weeks now.
Right.
They all have new growth on them. They're all going. So what I'm doing in the back here is the same thing. So I started planting. I sprinkled. Well, here's the thing too. It's interesting. So I'm sprinkling seeds out there, and these birds come. Oh, this is very nice. You're giving us some food. Thank you very much. I go, no. These are seeds I want to grow. And the birds, no. They're seeds we're going to eat. And I go, what the hell? So I said, okay, I tell you what, you can take as much as you want to eat, just leave a good amount of other things to grow. They said, okay. So I'm hoping that's going to be what happens, because you can't really trust the birds. They forget, short memory, they forget, and they eat everything. But anyway, I'm having planting seeds are coming up. Sunflowers are a whole bunch of sunflowers have come up. I planted morning glories to grow on the vine. I just planted some blackberries. The blackberries are in a bush. I'm squirrely. Thank you very much. I don't know what squirrely means. A squirrely will be like you eat the
Yeah, you're crazy, man. You're crazy.
Oh, I'm crazy, man. And I planted a ton. And so I also have all kinds of edible plants that you can eat, because you know the nasturtiums you can eat, right? You can fry them, you can cook them. Get a crow cannon. A crow cannon. Why would I get a crow cannon?
Chase the birds away, but I don't think that's what you want. And actually, Andy, when you consider it, normally a lot of seeds are eaten by the birds, get cracked, pass through their system, and when they deposit, instant fertilizer wrapped around the seed for it to start to grow.
Right. So the deal I made with them is, okay, so just plant somewhere in the neighborhood. It doesn't have to be right here where I planted it, but just plant them in it. Don't fly to Montana and then drop your poop over there and go.
Yeah.
And so my approach is to, because I live back to a forest, lots of rabbits, birds already coming by. There's 3 hawks. Oh, there's a mother hawk, a father hawk, and a baby hawk. And they're looking at my cat the other day. Can we talk to your cat, please? I'm going, no, we need to talk. So I had to talk with him. I don't think it would work in Malibu, though. What? No, you can't have it.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
You have the cops there about every 15 minutes every time it popped off.
I prefer to have all the animals come and go. I prefer the animals. There's what do they call it? Field squirrels out there, which are kind of cool, and snakes, which are out there for the field squirrels. And so the lady said, "Watch out for the snakes; they might bother you." No, they're not going to bother me at all. You know. So, but what I wanted first. So the first thing I do is because I have the capability of having the most magical liquid that you ever encountered. That's what you want to do. You want to make this incredible liquid, and you can make it yourself that you can then use, because spraying. One of the reasons I started doing spraying is because it's foliar spraying, foliar applications. The fastest way you can feed, not even yourself to. You can spray some stuff on your skin. You can absorb it right away. Woo! Right, you'll get that. Like, ever try spraying garlic, and you also have the garlic breath just spraying your skin.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote a book called it was one page, How to Keep Mosquitoes from Biting You.
Yeah.
It was and it was actually half a page, and it basically said, take a garlic clove, take a smoked garlic clove, take the skin away, cut that garlic clove, little garlic clove in half, put in your shoes. No more, nothing's gonna bite you. No mosquito. No snake, nothing.
And no girl is gonna kiss you either. Yeah.
No girl. Yeah. Well, yeah, it depends. If they like garlic, they'll go after. They'll definitely go after.
True. Yeah.
So what I'm in the process of doing now is to growing as much, because I'm taking advantage of the rain. You want to take advantage of the rain. I don't worry about trying to amend the soil, turn it over, or clean it up, or any of that stuff. I mean, you want to clean it up with glass. Some rocks are not supposed to be where they're supposed to be. I want to be able to walk barefoot on it. So it's basically as simple as that, cleaning it up to a wall. But now, no, I'm not going to be turning anything over. So by spraying the liquid onto the microbes onto the soil, I also went and got a couple of bags of my local compost, and I went and got another couple more bags of this really cool organic fertilizer that's sold here locally. You may know about it. It's called Dr. Can I say it?
Sure.
Shh. It's called Dr. Where are you? There you are. It's called Dr. Earth. Shh.
Don't tell anybody. Yeah.
Did I do it okay? Did I tell anyone?
Sure.
It's called Dr. Earth. It's going to be one of our sponsors. He doesn't know it yet, but he will. Because this fertilizer has 8 different types of endonectal mycorrhiza, which is very rare and organic fertilizers these days. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's really simple. It's like living on a farm. If you're lucky to live on a farm, you have all these animals, everything that you could make the wide range of biology grow, then make a liquid from that same biology that you're growing, and use the liquid to spray on your farm. You can do it. For me, I do it as a business. I go to people's properties who can't have cattle or horses or whatever, chickens. Yeah. I spray that on their property. And you do have to teach them. You have to tell them. You do know that the city water you're using is killing everything, right? You do know that, right? You know that.
How many actually do? To ask you enough for a question, how many actually do understand that? End?
They don't, to the point that they're actually drinking that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, they say city water is great to drink. I was talking to somebody yesterday I talked to a lot of people all the time, but I was talking to this person about nanoplastics.
Yeah.
Forever chemicals.
Yeah.
Nanoplastics. It's so small, they go through your membranes of your skin, through your cells, right into your DNA. That's how small they are. And it's in everything. What you just drank some. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and so it's and they're saying everybody on the planet has that. Every living thing has nanoplastics in it.
Well, even the tribes that nobody can get close to in the Amazon, they have it as well, because it's literally in the air.
They have
all around the planet,
and nobody knows what this stuff is going to be doing to us, because there's no way to study it, no way to figure out how to get it out of your system. Well, they said there's a way to get rid of nanoplastics in water. You have to use lye. So you can
pretty strong acid to burn that shit out, man.
Yeah. So you can use lye, but then you have to clean up the water from the lye.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's a good solution to it, but. Anyway, so I have a triple reverse osmosis filtration system that I use for my home, and it's one that I highly recommend for people. It's a company that here in Malibu, people would buy the filtration system for the whole property. You have to spend $10,000 to do that. So this company is like $1,900. It's a whole property filtration system. Wonderful, absolutely perfect. I think we mentioned to it before, and I think I gave it to you. So if you want to, you look up if you have it or want to, I'll give it to you. You can put it in the description. Go up there and check it out. You'll find that that will purify your water to the point you can drink it, but it will stop the destruction that's constantly happening in your garden or in your plants. Like you had talked to me about, was it white powdery mildew?
Yeah.
Well, that is a something that can be that the water. See, the water when the water has these nanoplastic in the water, it's not structured water. It doesn't hold any energy. It doesn't hold any information at all that normally you find in water. And so when you have like the powdery mildew, it basically means that the water, because that's where it gets it from the frozen water or whatever the liquid is, right? And you find that the nanoplastic in that, and so it changes the structure, the actual function of the water to where it's no longer bringing in oxygen, bringing in the biology that normally comes with it to prevent it, keep it from happening as well. That's one of the things that you could use as the biology against it. In terms of, remember, you said you can spray some coffee or some milk, but you can also make some biology and spray. The biology will control as long as you have filtered water when you make your biology liquid, right? Are you doing any kind of liquids that are you making?
Making a kombucha. I make water-soluble calcium phosphate, lactic acid, bacteria, fish amino acid.
Is that for you to take? Sounds like you're taking.
No. This is for my plants.
Oh, very good. Tell me a little bit how you make it.
Well, I use mainly the Korean natural farming techniques taught by Chris Trump and a bunch of other people. But for the calcium, I just cook my eggs down to a nice toasty brown. Mix it 1 part eggshell to 10 parts apple cider vinegar for the mother. Most people use brown rice vinegar. As long as you've got the mother culture, that's what you need, the biology. Then for the calcium phosphate, I basically put the bones through pyrolysis. I can't even say it right now. But just like making biochar, you cook out everything out of the bone, and then you do that again to apple cider vinegar, 1 to 10 mix. You got the calcium phosphate, lactic acid, bacteria. That's rice water mixed with
rice
milk.
Water.
And then,
right.
Yeah, rice water mixed with milk, and it makes the lactic bacteria. So
that sounds like a really good drink to take for me.
Well, yeah, actually, and Oriental herbal nutrients. I haven't made any. I had someone give me some, but that's some fantastic stuff. It's a tincture, so made from alcohol, but it's angelica root, garlic. Oh, I can't. There's like 5 different ingredients, 5 different mixtures, and then you mix it all together. Really a fantastic thing that people should be taking.
One of the things that I found important to grow in my garden, and I would probably think of it as 1/3 of my garden would probably be some type of medicinal plants that I would grow. And
medicinals,
medicinals, right? And from these I could get the leaves and the barks and the trunks, and even mix even more amazing sprays. And what's good about the liquids too is that you can literally, you don't need a pest control license to do that, to go out spraying people's properties, especially if you're spraying like your neighbors in the neighborhood, rather than going across country with it, because normally if you grow the plants in your area, those are the ones who will work the best for you. And I find that like I'm growing now, one of the things you want to start in the garden is to start growing things that you can definitely used in so many different ways, starting with eating, right? And starting with then with medicine. And then if it's medicinal, you know that it's also very good for all kinds of diseases and pest control. You just have to learn how to use it. You have to learn the plant. A lot of these plants can sometimes be classified like dandelions, for example. I don't think of it. I actually buy dandelion seeds and grow dandelions. You want to, so people think I'm crazy or ordering dandelion seeds and planting them. People want to come over here and get rid of it from me, right? You know, they're actually it's a root. It's a root.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be either breaking up compacted soil because of that massive root it produces, or it's adding calcium into the soil structure. That's the only two reasons that a dandelion seed will actually sprout in nature. You know,
exactly.
I don't call them weeds, Andy.
No.
I like what Leaf calls them, and that's earlier transitional plants or earlier successional plants. Those are the plants that built our soil structure, put every of those nutrients into our soils. That's why when you break up the soil, what comes up is the plants that are needed in that soil to fix that soil. Right. That's what people don't understand.
Right. And what I tend to do is I would also expand my kitchen so I could start making more liquids from anything that I grow, because I would chop them up and make a liquid and spray it right back onto my property, because I know that would be the fastest way I get my property, the soil there, to start growing abundantly, right? Yeah. So I don't have to water all the time. I don't have to. It's so alive. You can just actually enjoy it rather than having to struggle to make it grow. And so you want to constantly recycle your biology back in again. That's why I think so good about making compost. And that's one of the things you have to learn in having a really good garden. You have to understand the whole law of recycle, how Mother Nature recycles everything right back in again. Nothing goes away. But and another level, the trace minerals do spread out. Mother Nature has a way of spreading them out. So, but for us here, we want to be able to have our, what do you call it? A trove. There was a weird name you gave it. Trove, ¿Qué más güey? ¿No this way, no?
Well, say what, man? What are you talking?
You called it last show. You called it a name for your local environment. Come on, you know what it is.
Terroir.
There you go. Same to you. Same to you.
Yes.
And Lily says, "Are you all settled?"
That's you.
I'm only here not even 2 months yet. My birthday is going to be in a few days, by the way, guys. I'll be 75.
Oh, yes. Happy birthday, Andy.
February 1st. Please send money to, and I'll give you the address where you can send it. The process of making two things you want to do. Definitely, you want to have, if you want to have a successful garden, and there's tons of things that also have to fall into place, but in my opinion, you have to have some kind of feel for the gardening. I mean, I have this one guy who's just like, okay, here's some seeds. You're going to plant them. You're going to water them. I'll be back in a week. I come back. What happened? They all died. I go, great. So that is, thank you. So that is, you can't do anything about people who don't get that. So if you get the idea that you have to do something, the utmost important is you want to have a worm farm and you want to make compost. The two are the most important thing you need to do in your garden. You can't, and they're not the same thing. It's not the same thing to have worms that you're going to be making compost from, even though you can. But the reason why you have a worm farm is to get the leche, which is like the milk, right? The leche, right? Mm-hmm. Right. And
we had an expert on actually vermicompost, which is actually taking your compost, feeding it to your worms.
Yeah.
On with Leighton. Yeah. And depending on what because you're doing your own, and you know what you're doing. Most people have no idea, and leachate can be dangerous because it is so concentrated. Depends on what you're putting into your worm farm, what you're feeding your worms. The water comes up. What watering, because you got to keep your moisture up in your worm bin. So just guys, be aware of that. Andy has been doing this for decades. He knows what he's doing with the leachate.
You don't have to tell him I'm that old. Decades. It's only been like a few years, guys. So maybe
you're just 20 again, all over again. On February 1st, you're starting at 25. There
Maybe
we go.
just 2 years ago. It was only 2 years ago that I started gardening. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, the vermiculture is a whole different thing as well too, because you basically are you have worms growing everywhere, and so that's all you really need.
Yeah.
That's all you really need. You grow the worms, and and the worms allow you to grow your food right in there with it.
Yeah.
Terroir, right? It's a French term. Yeah. Vive la
Yeah.
France. Vive the French.
A French term used to describe the environmental factors that affect a crop's phenotype, including unique environmental context, farming practices, and a crop-specific growth habitat.
Right. You're going to find it could be very different just from across the street, because it really depends on here where I live. Example in Malibu, there's a couple places that they have their own ecosystem. As soon as you go in there, you go, holy cow, it's entirely different over here. Different things will grow there as opposed to just a few blocks down the way where it's windy or really super sunny and super hot. So I have a little bit of a forest here, which allows it to be nice and shady sometimes, and enough light to grow. And so I'm going to start. People have been wanting me to go back to when I started gardening in the 6th grade. I bought compost from a local farmer. That was my secret. I would go out to his farm, and he would sell me bags of compost. This is when I was young, because you can't really make compost in your little home if you're living like in it's a track house with other houses next to you. You can't have a pile of anything out in the backyard, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I started doing that, buying a couple of bags of stuff. My dad would bring them home. I would help him planting. And then as I got older, I went into service. And so by the time I got out, I made bigger piles of compost, bigger piles.
I have a question, and it relates to what Super Nessa does here. So he's got 30 trees tapped. I'm guessing 3 to 5 years before he has a solid recipe for what he's doing. But have you ever considered tapping trees for the tree sap to add into your formulations? Because that's like deep from the earth. And the thing is, you're dealing normally with trees that aren't healthy.
Well, here's the thing. I'm one of those arborists that really does not like to do anything into the trees. I don't like punching a hole into them for any reason, whether it be to examine them, so you have sometimes, or to inject them with something, or even to climb up them. I don't like any of those things. I just inherently stay away from that. It's if you're like a surgeon and you do it right, you won't damage them. And you have a relationship with your trees, and your trees like to give their blood to you, and you use it. I think it's an excellent tool. I wouldn't recommend it to the average person.
Yeah.
You really have to have a feel and an understanding of what you're doing, because you could really damage the tree, expose it to diseases and more pests if you do it wrong. So there's so many things that go wrong as opposed to what go right. But if Super is doing a good job, then that is, I'm sure he's been doing it for a while now, and it's great that I would take some of the sap of the use it for myself. He can sell it because we can use it, right? It's good. It's like maple syrup, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, that's what maple syrup is made from, is tree sap from a maple tree.
Yeah, I would love that myself, I suppose. I mean, I'd love honey from bees and stuff, but sap is very, very different. I would probably not eat it and use it in part of my liquid.
Just to see what results.
Right, it's used as part, because normally when I make there are certain times a year I would use organic Granny Smith's molasses to feed my liquids. And I like, that's the only liquid that the only source of sugar that I would add to it. And I've often thought if I can, because I did buy molasses one time, and it was organic molasses, but it's a lot of work to pre-mix it with the molasses. Very sticky, and it's very hard to carry. So I just buy the smaller containers. But the molasses, I like the Granny Smith molasses, but it definitely would be very good if you had a source of trees that you get the sap from and use that.
Yeah.
that would increase the local biology 1,000-fold because you already have the biology in the sap that you're then spreading out.
Well, like you were talking about pine trees, you know, if you could find a really healthy pine tree, it would almost be like taking, you were saying, the blood and giving it to the other plant. Pine is a transfusion that's sick, adding in the biology from the healthy tree into the sick tree.
I would have to think about it. Again, I'm just very leery to do anything cutting at all, or stabbing, or punching, or punch.
You'll have to ask the trees, Andy.
Yeah, I have to ask the trees, and the trees say, "Yeah, go ahead, go for it." I probably would do it, but I have a feeling they're not going to do that. In which case, I'm very happy with making the biology in every number of ways that I can do now. It seems to be working. I think I've stumbled upon the right mixture of trace minerals, because you can overdo. It's better to like don't be a moron, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's better to go to err on the light side than on the strong side. You know, in terms of giving them too much, because too much doesn't necessarily mean better. And so for your any person's garden, you want to always set up a constant source of the biology coming in, right, which would be the compost, the worm farm, biology coming, as well as trace minerals coming in. So for me, I don't have enough sources to be able to go out and pick plants to utilize them, and I haven't a big enough place or enough money where I can buy stuff around from other people to grow plants. I know I can buy sources of plants and stuff and ship them here and make. Ideally, you should grow your own plants and do that from the plants you grow. So what I do in terms of getting trace minerals, I keyed into the using rock dust, sources of rock dust, because I found that, that has a lot of trace minerals available in the right proportions. So there's tons of different sources of rock dust across the United States, around the world, that you can go to remineralize.org, right? Remineralize.org is a real good starting point to see what sources of rock dust you have near you, because ideally you want to buy the rock dust is the closest to you, so you don't have to pay $1 billion for shipping.
Didn't you weren't across from somebody where when the wind blew, their rock dust just blew over onto your property or something? That's really pretty cheap shipping.
When I was driving to when I first came here, and I was going to I think it was to Desert Hot Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a quarry somewhere on that road on the Highway 10. They were doing some quarrying or something. There was a strawberry farm around, so I pulled in for the strawberries.
Right.
Right. And I asked, and I said, they were really cool. I didn't have a refractometer then with me, but they were very, very sweet. I said, "What are you feeding this?" He says, "Wait a minute, I'm going to feed him now." And the dust comes across the street, blows all the dust across from the rock quarry back. Okay, I just finished fertilizing. And that's what. And I said, "Why don't you sell me this stuff by the bag?" Because it's called the loss, LOSS. The stuff they're not going to use. So when they're mining, there's a big pile of stuff they're not going to use, and they throw it away. And this is really usually very fine stuff. So I said, "Start bagging it." And so he did that for a few years. I don't know what happened to him now. I mean, he died, but it's a really excellent source of trace minerals. And if you have it tested, you'll find that different rock dust, depending upon how they're made. For example, the glacier rock dust, which I get from Fayetteville, Arkansas, is called glacier rock dust.
Mm-hmm.
They get it from the ancient glaciers. So these come from your way, Canada way. That whole area over there, right? Coming down to the northern part of the United States, but it's basically that area there of that when the glaciers were around, they crush things to a very fine powder, and there are local really cool sources that people are tapping into now to get. There's also that the volcano Mount St. Helena. Well, she dumped massive amounts of fine rock dust everywhere.
Yeah, I'm right.
Very fine stuff, and there are people just bagging this stuff up and selling it. Very rich in magnesium, iron, calcium. Here in Southern California and near San Diego, there's a hot mud bath place. It's a hot mud bath. And basically what it is an underground volcano that has heated the mud and the bubbling the mud up, and that they take a bath in it. They soak
Okay.
in it. And that stuff is 30% calcium.
Mm-hmm.
When you get rock dust, like azomite is like 2% calcium. Right. So when you
Yeah.
have when you oh, my volcanic fractures to the extraction facility, and the New Year's fast approaching. I wonder what that means. You the sap on plants. You boil it down, much like maple syrup for your stuff. I know. Lily's asking about boiling down the.
Yeah.
You have to boil it down. You have to filter it a little bit. You have to get it so that it doesn't
Yeah.
have pieces of stuff in it. I like it with ants, bugs in it. But I'm sure that you can figure out a way to, and you have to do a law a little bit. Just take a little bit out with it rather than just.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to starting my own composting process, because I really learned that the process of making compost, I key into what's in the local area. And I already know of 3 or 4 farms where some have animals, different kinds of animals. So I'm going to be getting those. There's a local forest here which has tons and tons of leaves coming and going all the time. I'm going to get some of those. And I'm looking forward to increasing my worm capacity, my ability to have more and more worms. I key into the success of my garden to the success of my worms. One of the things I ended up doing, well, I'm going to make some raised beds. Like, you can't really go down because the soil won't let you do. They did construction sand when they put in the building, so there's nothing there to dig into and won't drain. So I'm going to raise it up about, it'll be like 24 inches, 2 feet, or maybe 2 feet is about not too bad, pretty high. So that we have at least 2 feet of soil, and I'm not gonna make a straight compost. I'm gonna blend the compost with everything I made. So, but the compost to me, and at the same time, I'm having a carpenter come building a really nice little shack where the worms will live in, where the worm farm will be into it. The worm farm will have to be protected from the ants, because the ants love to eat worms if they're caught in the wrong place, right? And the birds and all kinds of creatures seem to like worms. So I'm going to have a place where the worm farm will be at, and the liquid production. I'm already taking orders from people who will order my liquid, because I'm ordering it. I'm making it available for people to buy it by the gallon.
Cool.
And I'm telling them they're going to have to order on demand and basically use it right away within 24 to 48 hours. Matter of fact, 48 is stretching it. So if you have this liquid that's already been bubbled, it's already ready to go, and you need to either spray it on the plants now or do something with it, because it's going to start moving and dancing and talking to you and smelling, and you're going to go, holy cow. So
I think somebody's trying to get attention.
Yeah. you get that? Did you hear the little bell?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I'm. That's my accountant. She's getting the taxes ready for everybody.
Cool.
So
but that's got to get done every year too.
Here's another thing that's very, very important in terms of the garden. The seeds are very important. So don't go to the hardware store or the local nursery and buy these bad seeds and expect to do well in your organic garden. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So you want to buy organic. I was going to say organic heirloom seeds.
Yeah,
but if it's heirloom, isn't it organic, right? Does it have to say
it's supposed to be? Yeah.
Right. So if it's heirloom, it's supposed to be organic. Yeah. I kept saying organic heirloom. They wouldn't start selling heirloom seeds and they're not organic seeds, but they probably would. I bet you there's a company out there selling heirloom seeds, and it's just the name of their chemical seeds. They just decided to call it heirloom seeds so they can sell it. You won't know. So maybe you may want to you want to find out if they're organic. You want to say, these are, but that's what I have. I also have a nice seed bank, collect seeds. Yeah. I got really cool seeds from around the world, because I always thought you have to grow locally, right? What you eat local, that limits what you're going to eat. There's no reason why you can't have I have a really cool cabbage from Japan, stuff from Europe, and I can grow here. Yeah. There's no reason why I can't do it here if the climate's very similar in terms of it not being a desert environment, that kind of stuff. And you'll find that the biotic, because that's what they do. All these homeowners, they all have plants from around the world. Those things are you're never going to find them here otherwise, other than being brought over, right? Mm-hmm. So I do the same thing with a garden. You just plant whatever you want to eat, but also expand. Start buying heirloom seeds. There are wonderful companies out there now. There's
Yep.
a giant book I recently bought. Massive amounts of seeds, massive amounts of plants. It's very similar to the Whole Earth catalog. Big giant seed. And I think it's a whole seed catalog, something like that. And
Okay.
so you want to get as many different seeds as possible. Get a greenhouse growing, because that way you can start your seeds inside of a greenhouse environment rather than starting them outside. It's a lot harder to start them in the ground from seeds than it is to start them in the greenhouse and then move them out to the garden, as you probably know. Unless you're really, really good at going out there and protecting those little seedlings and being there for them all the time, yeah, they're going to have problems. What happened now? The little field mouse just came through and ate all the seeds, all the sprouts. So the heirloom seeds are very, very important. And then you want to also, and another secret that I learned, it's not really a secret, but every gardener will let one of those varieties of each plant go to seed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So one year I had this really, really delicious purple tomato. It was purple. And I think it came from Russia. It was purple tomatoes, and everybody liked it. So I took like one plant. I had like 4 tomato that I left on there, and I dried them up, and I've been growing them ever since. And they do really, really, really good here, because every year they seem to do even better. They're totally delicious. You slice them up, you go, "What the heck is this?" And it's on the 28 on the brick scale, but it's also very rich in iron and magnesium and all kinds of other stuff. And so I have other seeds from other parts of the world, and that they do really, really cool here, really, really well. I'm starting some black garlic. Okay, and the black garlic is from Africa.
Yeah.
And the plants are about that big and black.
Okay.
And it's a highly valued medicinal.
Medicinal.
Yeah, that's it. Very rich in iron and all the heavy metals that you need, but not to the extent you're going to go toxic. But you do need, there's a little bit of gold in there, a little bit of silver. So it's called black garlic. And so I want to grow. I follow the same philosophy when we talk about many roots in the ground. Well, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to have many roots, many different types of plants growing in the soil, right? That's what we want. That's my garden. I'm debating. I wanted to do raised beds, but I'm thinking more and more of the lines of maybe, because in the raised beds you have it's separated. Maybe I could figure out a way to just not do raised beds and just grow right in the ground and somehow just have it all blended in. But when I do this McKinsey seeds. It's a 25-year-old kind of Canada. Cool. Does not sell, nor have we ever sold any seed treated with neonicotinoids.
Neonics for short.
That's very important. It's very important. I like to be able to, because I would probably could you tell Billy to please send me a link to that McKinsey seeds?
Okay.
Because I deal with Seeds of Change, which is a really good seed company. I also deal with Down to Earth. They have lots of really cool seeds. And then the place here in Northern California, it's Peaceful Valley. They have you ever heard of Peaceful Valley? The big giant organic nursery in Northern California. They sell lots of seeds and organic stuff called Peaceful Valley. Good commercial.
Okay.
Cool. So I've covered some of the. We're going already, right? There it is. Hey, yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Look at this. Vegetables, herbs, flowers, and all of these, while they're growing up there, there's no reason why they can't grow here. We just have to find the 1 or 2 variety that really likes it, and we'll grow it here.
Well, yeah, that'll grow in your heat because But then it's everything. You look at what is in your area that's going to fit your environment, and that's what you grow. Especially here in Canada, our zones are pretty bloody extreme.
Right, exactly right. And I'm not really in the heat by the coast, so it hasn't gone up to maybe high 80s, and maybe not even the 90s yet. Where if you go into the valley, you go higher. So over here, we're actually zone 11. So there's a lot of stuff we could grow, because I've been able to grow things that are only supposed to grow like in Canada or northern climate, but you can grow them here, and they will grow great here, provided that they get some cold at night, which is great winter. So they make a good winter crops, because at night it's a little cool, the days are not so hot. That's the best time to grow them.
Yeah.
So the several things you want to make sure you get in order, right? You want to make the best compost. The best compost really is the compost that you make. So you want to make the best compost. You want to have a really good. You want to have a really good worm farm going, right? You want to have that going for the liquids, and you want to have really good sources of trace minerals, whether that you learn to harvest them. That's really the easiest way, but you have to be knowledgeable. When you, like here, I would start planting the things that I would eventually be harvesting, more and more of them growing. You see, so that's one of the things I'll be working on. What is it that I can start making my liquids from? What is it? What kind of plants here would make deep roots and make the happy? Because eventually I want to start laying the worms out. I want to take the worms, go,
be free.
I said, don't leave the property. Just stay here. Oh no, they'll go underneath some trees and stuff and have a good time. The other thing that I didn't even talk about a little bit, and I have a little bit of time. Remember, we talked about energy in the garden. That's something that I always felt that it was very sacred for me to go on the garden. So I try to be in that state of mind where I'm grateful and I'm happy, and I'm trying to envision everybody else being grateful and happy. And it should be a place where you get you can go get high in lots of other ways. You're breathing the air.
Find peace and tranquility.
Taking your feet off and lying down and walking barefooted. Remember, that was grounding yourself. So that's why in one of my shows I call it From the Soil to the Soul. You see, because that to me, I always tell people, so you meditate, you want to be a high spiritual being, but if your body is sick, you're not going to have a good time at it.
Pretty much.
You're just not going to, you have to come back again in another lifetime and try it over again. So having a good body basically means having a nice live biology around you. Your biology has to be living, right? Your biology, your soil, and your body and your stomach. It's just like the biology in the soil. That's why soil and soul are kind of, I like it that they're very similar. You understand? Soil and the soul are very similar in a lot of ways, other than spelling. But to me, it just basically means the soul of the biology, right? Get it?
Yeah.
See, right? Yeah. And our soul are the same, are the very same. So when we talk about the biology, we're talking about our biology, us as a biological creature inside of this other biological environment, how we interact with that biology, which is very different. People don't seem to understand that they are interacting. Yes, a garden is a refuge, inspirational, regenerative, feeds your soul. A garden is your soul. You see, right? I take it one step further, because we have individual soul, but we also have a unique soul that encompasses everything. So you and I are the same soul. The garden and I are the same soul. So we work together to have an harmonious environment, which is what we need in order to be happy here. I didn't come here for destruction. I didn't come here to destroy the planet. I didn't come here to pollute it. I hopefully came here to enjoy it, to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. I tell people the earth has a cancer and we're the cancer. Okay, so that's horrible, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I would class myself quite as a cancer.
That's horrible, isn't it? But lately I have been running, like you guys, Leighton, there's a whole bunch of people that I feel, well, good for them, because we're not a cancer. We're doing something that going in the right direction. And there needs to be more and more people that realize that, because otherwise, we are cancer. Otherwise, that's what we're doing. We're polluting and killing and maiming and destruction. And let's build more.
Well, I think I would put us as more of a virus, but the thing is a virus is a very good thing, because it does promote change and growth, especially in the biological world. things change very quickly when you introduce a virus, and generally it changes for the better. We just got to get through the psychos in charge right now, kick them out, then we can fix the ground, we can fix the biology, fix ourselves and our biology, and live this wonderful life in the garden of what it's supposed to be.
Okay. So we're a virus.
Yeah,
I'll go for
we're
that.
making changes. We're making changes.
I'll go for the fact that we are a virus, right? And the virus does what the virus does, which basically is promote change.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to. Oh, there are nothing that Mother Nature can't handle. That's absolutely right. But Mother Nature is the one who set us loose to do this. So she must know what she's doing. She must know what she's doing, because nothing happens without her. Okay, it's like the big Mother Gangsta lady. You don't do nothing without me saying so. So I mean, all of it's. I look at it as a reason for everything. You just have to try to just figure out what your reason is. What is it that I'm doing here? What is it that I can do? Otherwise, if I'm not part of the solution, I'm part of the problem. So I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution.
That's because you want to grow and you want to create and you want to be joyful and be positive. That's why you want to fix the planet. That's why I want to fix the planet and everything on it, is because I see a better future for us, for you, for me, for the people on our chat, the people that find this video in the future. There is a better way to do things, and we're trying to teach people to do that, whether that's on your show, Andy, and guys, you can find Andy's show on his YouTube channel. I've flashed it up a couple of times, but we're trying to make these changes, and you guys are part of it. It's you guys that are going to help us get out there and share this content and other content like this to create the change that everybody has to come to. We just got to get rid of the psychos up at the top of the control system first, and then we can fix things.
I think it's really, really cool that there are more and more people like you and Leighton and everybody on the team here, and I'm noticing more and more people around the world that are than there were before. Because when the early 70s, there are lots of hippies and all this stuff, but nobody's really was doing anything. 80s, 90s, and it seemed like the ability for people to think and think about what's the right thing to do for. Remember when Spock says it's better. What did he say? It's for the one or the whole. It's better to think about the whole rather than the one. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Spock.
Yeah, right.
On Star Trek. Right. The life of the one is not as important as the life of the many, or something like that. Yeah,
and that's pretty much what we have to think about, is that what can we do as a whole for everybody rather than for myself. But I've always been that way, and it's interesting too, because I feel that there seems to be more of a movement, maybe because I'm just aware more of what's going on, but I have a feeling there's more and more people out there going, okay, everything we have to make some changes. Everything's got to change, otherwise we're in deep doo-doo. And I'm hoping that is the case, because we are moving into a new area of space, and we are supposedly getting ready to blow up any moment now from whatever it is going on. We also have all kinds of aliens things that are supposed to be happening going on, and so it's like, and that Beetlejuice, that sun is going to blow up. Beetlejuice.
Yeah. I hadn't heard it was actually. I thought it exploded about 200 billion years ago. We just
it hasn't exploded yet. Oh, maybe
I just know we hadn't seen it yet.
That's right. There you go. I hate you, but that's true. That's exactly right. It already blew up. We haven't seen it yet. And any moment now, I think it's going to be sometime this year. We're supposed to have a good visual night visual, right? A night visual. And it's kind of interesting because it travels at the faster than the speed of light. Imagine how long it took to get here.
Billions of years.
So what are we talking about next week? Did we manage to tell everybody what we're doing next week?
I don't know. Do you have the file up on your computer? Because I don't
Yeah.
have it up on mine. So
Unraveling the mysteries of tree diseases and energy.
how cool! Oh, the energetic. Getting you guys know what Andy's like when we get into the energetic. Gonna be a hell of a good show
Oh,
next
yeah,
week.
we're gonna dive deeper.
Yes, of course. Take the dive, take the plunge. Yes,
Take
yes,
the
yes.
plunge. Take the plunge. Okay,
All
everybody.
right,
See you
guys.
next week.
Peace
Bye.
out.